Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tennessee Two's Disc Golf Podcast. Huge apology for that technical glitch that we had just now. Welcome to episode 18. We're going to be covering the Open at Tallahassee. We're going to be building disc golfer, the best disc golfer, hopefully. And then we are going to be covering the Champions Cup. My name is Daniel Bacon. Across from me is Ethan Jenkins. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you guys don't know already, for our audio listeners, we record this live on Facebook every Tuesday, generally between 7 and 7:30 Eastern Time. We have a live chat rolling. We would love for you guys to be in here and chatting with us, commenting, asking questions, and just interacting in general. So if you guys have the time to join us live, that's awesome. If not, please continue listening here on Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you're getting this podcast at today. And just thank you so much for the interactions. If you guys don't know, we do have a Facebook, Instagram, and a Twitter. We do a ton of interactions on all of those. Please give us a follow whenever you get a chance. And without further ado, let's start with the Open at Tallahassee.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. I guess first off by saying this was a Silver Series event following the Music City Open. They had a double decker of Silver Series events back to back. Um, this kind of ended up being at a bad time in the season, right before our first major, which we will preview later on in the podcast. Um, there was a lot of people that didn't play. They're taking the extra time to get ready for this first major. But however, the people that were there um, really had a chance to gain some points. You know, I feel like there should have been more players there than what were, but we ended up getting to see some new faces and some faces that we don't normally see, including we had Mr. Albert Ham, the bazooka himself, taking it down in MPO, first place, and he kind of won it by the second round.
Yeah.
Um, he had a six-stroke lead going into round three. Um, it was it was pretty dominant performance. A lot of people will give flack on the round three performance, but he did all that he had to do and still won by several strokes. So, uh, yeah, what do you think about the performance by Albert there?
Look, honestly, to say that it wasn't even close in my mind would be an understatement. I know you can make the argument that he only won by 2 strokes. Matteo had a fantastic round three, only coming in with the third round in double digits below par of the entire tournament. And that included Albert, Tom, as well as Garrett Gerthy. Congrats to all of them. But that score that you're seeing, that 2 stroke separation, is not nearly as close as it looked.
Mm-mm.
Albert went into round three with a 6 stroke lead, and he did not have a great round. He only shot 2 down for the entire round, and he still won by 2 strokes.
Right.
I don't like I don't know how else to explain how much separation and how very close to being truly insurmountable that lead was, because I don't know what else anybody could have really done to really
Yeah.
have a chance. Even if you take Gannon Burr and give him a 10 down on the final day, he's still 1 stroke off. Alex Russell, give him a 10 stroke day, and then he had a chance. But I mean, he didn't really come close to having a 10 stroke day on any other day, anyways.
No.
So it's just,
Uh,
it felt insurmountable to me going into day two. Um, and that statement pretty much held up,
yeah.
as
I
it
mean,
were.
that's the kind of thing that will happen when you shoot the hot round 2 days in a row. You
Right.
know. Um,
Now on the FPO side, there was a lot more drama.
there was
I went into day three thinking that Lisa was just not going to give that up.
no,
And I know she's had troubles holding on to leads in the past. We know that that's kind of been a history with her on day threes or day fours, but I didn't really feel like that was going to apply to her this year, and it ended up being the case again.
yep,
And on top of that, um, we had Stacy Haas, Haas,
Hass, yep, Hass,
Haas.
yep,
Stacy Haas came out and absolutely wrecked it, shooting the best round in the FPO of the entire weekend. Ended up winning. by 5 strokes.
Yeah, she was pretty dominant the third round. Uh,
Absolutely.
she kind of got. It was kind of cool to see someone just get locked in. She
Yeah.
had no like. She had no I guess she had blinders on. Let's put it that way. You know, she was so zoned in and focused. It was wild to see just every shot. It was
Yeah.
great.
Just absolutely lights out. And we went into the weekend. I had said specifically, and you had agreed with me last week, that this tournament is Valerie's to lose.
Yep.
And she kind of did that. She only was 2 down through the first 2 rounds. And even though she shot a very respectable 4 down on the final day, wasn't enough.
Yeah.
I mean, she did not put herself in very good position to go out and win on that final day. On top of the fact that Stacy was just lights out.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing that's really cool about Silver Series is without some of the elite FPO women there, um, you get to see players like this have those moments. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
that's the great thing about Silver Series. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And in terms of the player field, I mean, when I had picked my top three, my expected podiums last week, I had thought that Nico was going to make it up there. He withdrew. He was not the only name who withdrew. There were a couple more. I won't rattle them off, but I think that the Open at Tallahassee just kind of ended up being bad timing.
yeah,
It was kind of rough to put a Silver Series that week before the first major of the year. Um, Obviously, number one, it made it a lot less desirable as a title for all the best players who don't really worry too much about the Silver Series as much. A lot of times they just like to play them for tune-ups or because they're in locations they really like.
right.
I mean, we saw
They
Chris
really like the
Dickerson win.
course or whatever.
Yeah, we saw Chris Dickerson win at MCO, and I mean, of course, he's going to come out and defend any type of title that he has had or previously has had in his home state. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There was no reason that Chris was not going to go out and play, the Music City Open unless it was really, really not worth it. But that's just kind of what happened with the Open at Tallahassee for me. Is just a lot of players just kind of looked at it and said, you know what, I'd rather spend an extra week out at Appleton, Georgia,
Yep.
and that's kind of just the story of
Up
of
there close to
Tallahassee.
Augusta.
But all things being said, huge congrats to the Bazooka from Estonia going out there and just absolutely shredding for 2 days straight, looking nervous on the final day, and it still wasn't enough to stop him.
Yep.
It was really an outstanding performance overall. People can say what they want about that last round. It doesn't matter. He won,
Yeah.
and
It's
he
that's all
he
that
looked
matters.
good doing it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And he had the best layup on hole 18. I will say that. I was like, how did he get it to stop on that step? You know what I mean? Like, it was just such a good layup.
And he
We're not
he
going to
had
talk about layups often.
no, but he also had one of the best win celebrations that you could imagine. He has a great nickname, and he made it work for his win celebration. It was awesome. Loved every second of
Yeah,
that.
that was cool. We need more of that. We really
Oh
do
yeah,
need more of that.
absolutely.
Like, more nicknames, more brands like that. That's the kind of branding that I like. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like Nate Sexton with the disc flip, right? That
Right.
that's his. Albert Tom, Bazooka, that's his. You know what I mean? Like that, I like that. That gives players signature stuff. And you know, I'm
Yeah,
I,
I
I
thought it was
like it.
great. I'm all
Yeah,
about it.
I'm about it too.
100% all about that. Um, but yeah, I mean, not much really else that we can say.
No, um,
It was not the tip top tournament, and to be honest, we really didn't feel that the course was playing nearly as difficult as the players made it out to be outside of
yeah,
Tom. Um, and I'm not sure if people were just having off days. A lot of them might have just been working on specific things, getting ready for
mm-hmm,
Georgia. You know what I mean? And it could have been that they weren't really out there playing for the win. They were just using it as a good chance to warm up. I don't know, but it didn't feel that competitive outside of Albert really just going and shredding. I'm
yeah,
not sure if they just weren't there or what was going on, but they made that course look a lot harder than I thought it really was.
yeah. One thing I do want to note and shout out is Alex Russell is a filthy putter.
Yeah.
He started off round three hot with a putter. Draining that first long putt, I was like, uh oh, and it just never really,
Uh-oh.
it never really got to Albert. So
Yeah, that circle two putt on hole two was
yeah,
that was nasty.
it was nasty.
That was nasty.
Well, yeah, that's about all we got for Open with Tallahassee. So yeah, you want to go ahead and get into a little drama segment?
Yeah, we'll talk
Cool.
about Daniel's drama for a minute. I mean, it's not the most dramatic thing in the world, but Statmando kind of had an oopsie this week. And if you haven't seen it yet, we'll go over it with you. I'm going to pull it up for you. But basically, one of the things that was happening is that Statmando tweeted about Albert Tom being the first European to win in a certain situation, the second European to win in another situation. And a couple of people got really upset about it. Paul Macbeth even tweeted at them and said,
It was
"This
like,
isn't
hey,
correct.
this ain't right. Yeah,
This isn't, you know, this ain't right. I don't know what's going on here, but this ain't it, Chief." And it ended up blowing up. But what I really wanted to go over was they tweeted an apology.
yes,
And first and foremost, kudos to Statmando tweeting that apology and correcting the mistake that they made, understanding that, you know, where they gather their information and how they gather their information still has flaws, and that's
yes.
understandable. Stats are still very new, and
Mm-hmm.
this is one of those things where they weren't even talking necessarily about just downright numbers, but talking about Albert Tom uh, being one of the first players to win from Europe on an DGPT event and the second player to win an elite major or silver series in the US. And obviously, that wasn't correct. He was the second and the third.
Right,
But people got really upset about that. And I thought that was really funny because somebody had tweeted to their apology that said, and they said, "That's cool." Also, it was weird how people got so freaked out over a disc golf like tweet, like a stats tweet.
right.
And I thought to myself, I was like, yeah, I mean, people kind of got freaked out about it. But I understand it because
I
here's
do
the thing.
too.
Yeah, so here's the
Yeah,
thing about that. And I tweeted back to him, and I actually had a couple of both of the guys individually from
I seen
Statmando.
Dion. Yeah,
Yeah, had kind of either liked or interacted with it in some way. And I said, people just want to trust the sources that have accurate info. And when they post a stat that is in any way inaccurate, that stat or the source can lose credibility. Although most of us probably didn't care, us included, it
yeah,
just wasn't that big of a deal. It's important for a stat based company like Statmando to be transparent with a mistake, because if they just ride a high horse through that entire process and say, "We didn't mess it up, we were just following this
right,
particular stat based." Simon Lazat is listing that he lives in America, so he didn't count for this stat. And
right,
that just was downright not true,
right,
right? And they apologized for that and they corrected that. And that's why it's such a big deal. I mean, I understand like it's hard to understand why people get upset about that, but you have to understand that if I trust a source to give me accurate information and they don't succeed in that, and then they also pretend like it never happened, I cannot trust that source anymore.
right,
And that's hard to build a brand around, especially when we're talking about a sport that doesn't have good stats yet, that are sortable, easy to look at, easy to use, easy to understand. And Statmando's really taken the next level step.
right. Well, this is
They,
something that's going to affect the future. You know what I mean? Like everything that we do now, stat wise, affects anything that happens from today on. You know, so that's why it's so crucial that everything has to be really, like, really looked through and made sure that it's right. And they're doing a great job. They really are. They're pulling up stuff
Absolutely.
that nobody else is pulling up. They just had a whoopsie,
Yeah.
and they owned up to
And
it. And
they took response. They
yeah, they
argued
took
with it a little
response.
bit
Right,
and kind of said, this is why it happened, this is how it happened. And then they took a step back and they reread all of the conversations that they were having with people about the stat, and they realized, and it was a good thing that they did, was, all right, you know what, these people are right, the system is flawed. let's correct this and let's post an apology and a correction. And they did that. And
Right.
so huge kudos to Statmando for doing that. And yeah, that's just a good way to explain why people were up in arms. I know it might, from the outside looking in, you might think, well, this is just a silly thing to argue over. Yes, it is a silly, like when you look at the topic as a whole,
Hmm.
it is. But when you look at the entire situation, you have to understand. I mean, let's look at it this way: if ESPN started just spewing off information that wasn't correct, and if they just sat on a high horse all the time and said, whatever, we were
Right.
wrong, but I'm not going to say anything about it,
Yeah.
ESPN would not be known as the worldwide leader in sports.
Yep.
They got that title by being who they are and accepting that if they were wrong, they need to correct it, but also knowing that they make the right calls when they need to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And that's yeah, that's the Daniel's drama.
Boom. All right. Now we're going into another segment. uh, the
Segmenta.
little disc guessing game. We still don't really have a name for it, but that's the name right now.
Name
So
that disc.
there you go. Name that disc. I need a soundbite.
Yeah,
Preferably
we
not
do
my
for sure.
voice. Um,
Like a Wheel of Fortune or
right,
something.
exactly. Yeah, you kind of went with the Wheel of Fortune vibe there.
That's what I went
Yeah.
for.
Um, so this time, since it's a shorter, like we had the Silver Series to go over, which we're not going to focus on as much as an Elite Series. We're just going to add a little extra one. Instead of just one of us doing the disc this week, we are both going to be guessing a disc. Um, and if you want to,
Points on the board for both of us.
yeah, it could be points on the board for both of us. That is correct.
Opportunities.
Yeah, opportunistic.
You want to
There you
go
go.
first? You want me to go first?
Does not matter.
All right.
Sure, I'll go first.
You'll guessing? You want to
Yeah,
guess first?
I'll guess first.
All right. All right. I have it ready. Let me get 60 seconds ready for you here.
All right. And just so everybody that is new and has not listened to this segment before, we have 60 seconds to guess the specific disc that the other person is thinking of. And if we do not get it in 60 seconds, we do not get a point. But however, we do get one final guess after the 60 seconds, and that is worth half a point.
Yeah. And we'll even go so far as to say you get one final question to narrow it down,
Yes,
and then one final guess outside of the 60 seconds for
correct.
half a point.
For half a point.
All right. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
Trilogy.
No.
Innova.
No.
Okay. Millennium.
No.
Legacy.
No.
Infinite.
No.
Discraft.
No.
Discmania.
No.
MVP.
Nope.
Prodigy.
Nada. 30 seconds.
Okay. Well. Lone Star.
Nope.
Why can I not think of West? No, that's trilogy. Driver or
Fairway. I'll
Fairway
give you
Driver.
that since you're
Okay.
down to 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's not good.
I'm going to give you one more hint because you're out of time. You're not going to get it.
Okay.
One more hint. You can take one more question after this hint and then make a guess.
Okay.
Trilogy was not as far off as you think it was.
Okay. Castoplast, then.
Yes.
So, and my question is overstable.
No.
So it's an understable fairway driver
Or stable.
from Castoplast. So I'm gonna go with the Cax Z.
It is not. It is the Falk.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't believe that I stumped you with Castoplast like that
I am
bad.
I'm a little disappointed in myself. I like the Castoplasts. I even have a dog named Casta.
Yeah. Yeah, I really
Yeah,
so
just
I
yeah.
thought it might take him to 30 seconds to get to Castoplast, and then their disc lineup isn't
Yeah.
particularly large, and he had already guessed Fairway Driver, or I had at least given him Fairway Driver.
Yep.
So I really thought you were gonna be able to at least get it for a half a point just because of that. But I mean, you didn't even get the brand in a minute.
Yeah, I didn't. But when you said almost trilogy, I was like, okay, that's Castoplast. But yeah, it's not necessarily trilogy, so
No,
that's yeah,
because
that was a
because if
stumper.
it can't be trilogy because it would have to be quad if we
Yeah,
start counting them.
yeah, that would be weird. What are they gonna do?
Well, I
Quadrilogy,
don't know.
quadrigy.
Technically, it's more of a partnership than it is like a big brand
Yeah.
merge. So it's in a funky weird spot.
Well, mine is not as hard. So here's
Oh,
your
good.
chance. So
Here's my chance.
yep.
I'm still gonna get it wrong, but here we go.
All right. Got to do this, and you let me know when you're ready.
All right,
And
I'm ready.
go.
Innova,
No.
Discmania.
Yes.
I didn't expect that. Driver,
Yeah.
Fairway.
Yeah.
Mm, I don't know their fairway driver lineup like at all. I don't think I've ever even thrown one. Uh, Man, you've done Discmania 2 weeks in a row.
I figured that would be the tricky one. I didn't think you would guess it right away.
No, and I don't know their fairway lineup like
25
really well.
seconds.
Um, Overstable,
Yes.
Eagle throws it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
10 seconds.
No. I can't think of what it's called. I know the disc that I want to guess, but I
Time
can't
is
think of the
up.
name.
Time is up. You get one more question.
I don't need another question. I cannot remember the name of the disc I want to guess, and I'm struggling.
You can't look it up.
I'm just looking for a name because I know what I want to guess. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. Um, well, this is probably wrong, but is it the FD?
No.
So it's the tilt.
Yeah. So you would have got it on your second one. No points around the board. Unfortunate.
Yeah,
What a waste. We suck.
it is what it is.
It is what it is, my dude. All right.
They're
What?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but their fairway driver line for some reason holds zero retention in my brain.
Yeah.
And I didn't consider like wouldn't have guessed tilt immediately
When you said
because
Eagle throws it, I was like,
I don't
yeah,
consider
he did. That's kind of famous.
yeah, and I don't consider 9 speeds to be a fairway.
Yeah.
They're like in
Well,
that awkward. They're between fairway and distance, but
it
Discmania
is.
lists them as fairway.
Right.
So
And the Falk is also a 9 speed. And you said it was fairway.
yeah, they listed as fairway, but
Right.
again, it's just like I didn't think of the tilt because I was like,
It is kind of crazy that we
it's
both picked 9 speeds, though.
it's like a control driver. Like
It
I don't know.
is.
There's no
They say
standard in
that
that makes it
control
hard.
is between 10 and 11, but technically, I feel like anything over 11, like anything
I
11
think
or over is
I
distance. That's
I feel like yeah, nine and 10 is control, 11 and up is
that's
distance,
more like what I
and then
think as well. Even
eight,
8,
seven,
like
7, and 6 I would say is fairway,
yeah,
and 6 is a weird awkward spot because some people classify that as a mid range,
yeah.
and some people classify that's a fairway. I don't know.
I use mine as a mid range, 6 speed, but it is more like a fairway driver, backhand, not definitely not forehand.
I guess I should have just asked if it was really overstable
Well,
instead of
I almost emphasized on the yeah, but then I was like, no,
it's
that'll give it away.
Well, yeah, but if you had done that, I definitely would not have guessed FD because I was like, well, I mean, FD's like stable to overstable.
Yeah.
It's straight with a little bit of fade.
Right.
but it doesn't really turn
All right.
unless you're eagle.
It, it still doesn't turn. He had to throw it upside down to do that. Um.
I was talking about the FD.
Oh yeah. 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 Let's go ahead and build the best disc golfer in the world. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right. So we're gonna be doing MPO. We're gonna build the best disc golfer in the world. I got this idea from Understable Minds podcast. Um, they are a dynamic discs podcast. Um, Anthony, Danny, AJ, Eric McCabe, they're all on there. Good podcast. Go give it a listen. I think that our best disc golfer will be much different than theirs. I truly do.
I would believe that.
This is gonna be me and Daniel's collaboration. We have to work together. We have to choose together, and find a common ground to get the best abilities out there. So be thinking about this, everybody listening. We have to have one player for backhand, one player for forehand, one player for mentality, one player for circle one putt, one player for circle two putt, one player for style, and one player for creativity. And what the hard part is that makes this challenging is you cannot use anyone of the same sponsor. No same disc manufacturer. So that's where it gets hard. Is like you have to really pick and choose where you need to be.
Right.
I think this will be very fun. And to everyone listening, please, please, please think of who you would choose for all of these and let us know. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the afterthoughts, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Hit us up. Let us know. We'd like to see yours. However, what do you think we should start with? Because this is not, we don't have to start with backhand. We don't have to start with anything in particularly.
Let's start with style.
Okay.
Because style is going to be the most like controversial in terms of interpretation, I think.
Okay.
So for me, style is going to be like the style on the course. Like, what are they going to do on the course? How do they imagine the course as they're playing it? And how does that help them succeed?
Right.
And I really want to get that one out of the way first because I think that style has to be Paul Macbeth. And the reason being is it's the way that he approaches the course in how he makes every course his, he makes every line his, and he doesn't play to the course how it's designed.
That
He
sounds.
thinks how can I adjust my play style to
See, why would
make
that
the
not
course
be
my
for
own.
mentality? I feel like Paul would be the perfect one for mentality.
I don't
That's
know. Because
that's
I think mentality can also be boiled down to
like the clutch
like
gene
the
and
and
just
the
having.
drive to win regardless of the situation. And I really think that that's going to end up being Ricky.
Mm, I see. Whereas like me for style, is kind of like swagger. Uh, like how do they present themselves? How do they carry themselves? Um, on the course, like when you see someone and you're like, now that's a professional disc golfer. You know what I mean? Like that's the style that I get. Um, so yeah, whatever you think.
But that again, the way that you explained it, we could also argue that that is a mentality factor as well.
Right.
So
So
that
it's
so that
kind
way
of like
basically I think that mentality is like how are you on the course, like how do you think and how do you process what's happening. And that's why I think Ricky ends up being mentality because he doesn't care what the situation is. He is always going to do his best to find a way to win. It doesn't
but
matter what's in front of him.
also think
But
about this is like you're taking an all Innova players and all Discraft players
I
away
am
from
aware.
your main throws.
And it would not be Innova, it would be dynamic.
Oh, dynamic, yeah, you're right.
That was a big slip up there, bud.
Ah, it ain't too bad. It's only a couple
Joel
million.
Freeman clothing swag. I mean, you're not
See,
wrong.
see, that's kind of where I'm thinking. I'm leaning towards the style, like too. However, it wouldn't be Joel because I feel like there's somebody else on Innova that would suit a better, um, a better attribute. Um,
Yeah.
so like it's so hard because if you think about it, um,
That's why I wanted to start with style because
yeah, it
there's
is
so
the
much
hardest one.
interpretation. Because I don't really like, for me, when I look at, I don't really care what they're wearing.
Yeah,
I comment on it and like I'm like, wow, I really like his outfit. But
yeah.
when I think of style, I think of like play style.
So you think, okay? Well, if I was going play style, I would go with Eagle. Like that's how I would
Well,
go. But
but we can't use Discmania because I think you and I are on the same track that Discmania is going to be in a different slot.
yeah, you're right. Um, so
And
okay,
let's be honest, we know Paul Macbeth has the cleanest play style from front to back on a course. He is going to put a play style out there that gives him the best chance to win.
what top players you got in Innova right now though? Calvin, Garrett
Calvin and
Girthy,
Calvin and Calvin.
yeah, Calvin and Double G too. And but you have Nate
And
Sexton
you also
and
have
Big Germ, which are
and you can't count out Queen in
yep,
there as well.
Nathan Queen. Everybody's got pretty good players. Um,
But
okay,
if we had
so
to pick one that's obviously the top, it's definitely Calvin. Everybody else down below him is kind of debatable.
yeah,
It's a
you're
toss up.
not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong. Um, okay, so you're wanting to go Paul on style?
Paul on style, Ricky on mentality.
Okay, I can get with Ricky on mentality. I'm gonna leave Paul up in the air, but you get half a commit from me. But I'm down with
All right.
using Ricky on mentality.
All right. We'll come back to
Yeah,
because maybe you
if we
might have a
really
spot that
need
you
a discraft player, like which I don't know if we do or not, but if we
I don't
do,
think so.
right?
But and
Um,
there's no way you can build a best player without having Paul on there. So I mean he
right.
has to go somewhere.
Oh, he's
It's just
going.
where do
Yeah,
you put him?
I mean, it
So
would be
we can come back, but
yeah,
I think we're pretty set on mentality being Ricky,
Ricky. I'm
right?
down. I'm down with that
I think he has the
because
best mentality in disc golf when it comes down to it.
he's got a very good clutch gene. Him and Paul both they do. Um, they've fought it out so many times, and both of them have won. It's not like
And I don't
um,
see. Here's the thing, and this is why I don't want to put Paul in mentality, is because sometimes Paul battles himself on the course a little too much,
yeah,
and that can be like it's just as frustrating for us to watch him battle himself and get upset by a bad shot as opposed to just moving on.
right,
So that's where the mentality. I was like, I mean, Ricky's going to make a bad shot. He's going to show some frustration, but he's going to move on,
yeah,
and I really like that.
yeah. I will agree with that. So mentality for sure, Ricky. I'm gonna write that down. Um, so
I
another
kind of want
one.
to get creativity out of the way.
Okay, creativity. I think we both are gonna agree. It's Simon.
Simon.
Yeah. Okay.
It's nobody but Simon, and that's
Okay.
where I was like, well, Eagle has to be in there too, but I can't use Discmania twice, and I can
Mm-hmm.
get away without Eagle in some other spots, honestly.
Right.
But creativity, it's Simon.
Yeah.
I mean, come on,
Yeah.
you can't talk about somebody who has his lines named after him
Yeah. Simon lines. I mean, it's
and not.
that one's like a point. It's literally just watching the paint dry. We know that one's going on. So we'll go ahead and move on to. Let's go ahead and get backhand out of the way. That's a harder one than you would think
Yeah.
because there's so many that are good. Um, the
Yeah.
main ones that come to mind, would you prefer to have the best disc golfer in the world having distance, accuracy, or accurate distance?
Um, it would be accurate distance for sure. Because he doesn't need to push it as far as Eagle consistently, but he needs to get to spots that people aren't getting on average
Yeah.
and getting there accurately. So it's accurate distance. And I
See,
think for me, and this is what's kind of hard, but I think that's a great place to put Innova because Innova has so many backhand friendly players because you could think of um, you know, Queen and Calvin and a couple other guys, but I mean Calvin
I
just
mean,
fits the
to be honest
molds.
though, the one of the best backhands of all disc golfers is on Innova, and it's Bradley Williams. Like, he has probably got the best form of backhand and accurate distance. But I am straying a little bit from Innova. I kind of had two up in my mind boggling, and one of them
Sure.
chat says is Conrad. Okay,
Yeah, and I thought about that as well.
Conrad is a very good choice. Um, but Drew Gibson, he's infinite, but like Drew has got one of the best backhands on the planet.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I don't know that opens up the argument of, you know, you have to consider like circle two putting as well.
I
And
would not even think of putting.
I mean what we see out of him on a consistent basis in pressure situations from
Yeah.
circle two,
Well,
it's a consideration.
I feel like Circle Two for me is a lock. Um, this is too many good players. This is too hard, right? It's difficult.
100%.
This is why it's a challenging thing. But okay, let's kind of transverse then. We to Circle Two putt. I'm really thinking Kevin. Like KJ, his Circle Two putts. Maybe not so much this year, but having KJ's Circle Two putts is phenomenal. Like, he is honestly better Circle Two than Circle One.
Yeah, but I mean you could say similar things about Drew Gibson as well.
I just not
Drew-
consistently. Maybe this year and the end just recency bias, but I and Calvin is really good Circle Two as well. Um, Calvin could go in a lot of these spots, and that's just being dead honest. Um, I You could also put Gannon Burr in Circle Two.
You could. I don't know. I
It's
just
hard,
I just I feel like Calvin has proven that his distance is elite tier on
and
top
it's
of the
accurate.
accuracy.
Yeah,
I mean, you're talking that he's got, competitive elite level distance
yeah.
with accuracy.
You're very right. The only person I would kind of compare it to is Ricky, um, as far as
And I
backhand
can't,
goes.
which is funny because like as good as he is when he throws backhand, I
Yeah,
hate watching him throw backhand because it
Calvin.
is one of
Yeah.
no,
Oh.
Ricky.
Okay. Yeah.
Calvin's is actually a lot more like
I like his low
tech
line
tech
laser beams, and
yeah,
it's good in the wind too.
Calvin's a lot more technically sound than you think he is if you really slow down
Yeah.
his motion. Ricky is very bad, technically speaking. Like
Yeah.
Ricky has the backhand motion as good as it is when he actually
He
uses
looks
it,
like
and I
he's a
don't want to
tennis
knock
player.
it. Yeah, he does full arm curl, which is the number one no-no in all of disc golf. He doesn't reach back all the way like you're supposed to, and God forbid, I mean, he is great. I don't want to talk about, you know, like he needs to change his form. He doesn't. He is so good the way that he does it. Please don't change, Ricky. But also, you're not going to be the first person I tell somebody to look up a video of throwing motions to learn.
Right.
So,
I've kind of leaned now because of the wind factor. Calvin is probably the best backhand player all around, especially in wind. Um, I would be 100% okay with picking Calvin for backhand.
all right. We'll put him in as a soft lock for now, and
Okay.
let's see if anything changes. And that, for now, we'll say that removes Innova.
Which is going to be
And
a little hard for the forehand.
I had a backup plan though if we went with this for
Okay.
forehand
Okay.
because Andrew Marweed.
I can't do it. I don't know, man. Like, it was so good last year, but where like, I don't know what happened.
One of the things I think you have to consider is that backhand translates to disc companies much more effectively than forehand does.
Yeah.
And he's on a steeper learning curve because forehands do not translate as quickly or as effectively. And I
Right.
think you're still talking about a player who's going to get there. He just has not got there yet.
Yeah. And like chat says, Ricky off the tee is not the best, which is why he's a scramble king and amazing circle two putter. That is,
I'm going to dispute you on that because Ricky actually had top 3 fairway hits and circles and regulations in 2021. So, I agree. When you watch it, you're like, man, he sprays a lot, but statistically speaking, he doesn't spray as much as you think he does.
yeah.
It just
But it
looks like he
always
does.
does seem like that. He is
It
a
does. It
scramble
really
king,
does.
though. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's
Well,
be he
that was the
always
same
gets
thing
up and down.
when we talk about Texas and Calvin Heinberg coming so close to that win. One of the things that we said was, I mean, he out Ricky outperformed him a ton in scramble rate, but when we watched it, it felt like
It felt like
Calvin hit
Calvin
every
was
scramble
doing
that he
it.
was supposed to,
Yeah.
but he didn't. He hit half the scrambles statistically speaking compared to Ricky.
Yep.
It was just like a weird. It's an optics thing, and that's the same thing with Ricky. Although optically speaking, yes, it feels like he sprays a lot. Statistically, he doesn't.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is weird, and part of that could be the UDisc scorers. So shout out to them.
Mhm.
But yeah. So I'm not really on the Marweed train for forehand. I'm gonna be honest.
Sure, give me some
Um,
backups.
I'm thinking who I would like to have a forehand of that's something we don't already have. Because the first three that come to mind is Nate Sexton, Jeremy Colling, and Eagle McMahon. And
Yes,
then
and then
I
Adam Hammis is in there as well for
I
me.
was thinking Adam as well, and
But Adam just, Paul is just too good to leave off this list, which really sucks for Adam. But because I think Adam
wait a
would
minute.
be
You know who has one of the most he's not very competitive at the top, but one of the best forehands I've ever seen, and I absolutely love watching every time I get to see it, is Silverlot. His forehand is disgusting.
Marweed best one finger pop thrower right now.
Absolutely.
100%. I
There's
mean, it's not even
no
close.
question. If it was one finger forehand, absolutely. There wouldn't even be a top three. He would be top three. Like, uh,
He is 1, 2, 3, and 4.
yes. Yeah. So, yeah. And I truly feel like he needs a Firebird back in his hand. But,
Yeah.
um, yeah, Silverlight actually comes to mind a lot for me. Like,
So okay, I think I'm gonna say, looking at our stats in the 2022 season as of thus far, I think we have to lock in Calvin as the backhand
yeah,
100%. I didn't realize he's actually leading all players in fairway hits right now,
yeah,
which and circle one, which means and he's a predominantly, I mean, he forehands, yes he does, but he's predominantly backhand.
yeah. He forehands, and when he does, it's usually good. But yeah, he's predominantly backhand.
It's
Um,
so funny to listen to him joke about his forehand though, because
yeah,
he
because
talks
he
so much
hates it.
trash about
He
his
he
own
hates
forehand.
it.
It's hilarious.
Um, who else is there? Like
I mean,
most
Chris Dickerson has an underrated forehand in my
he
opinion.
does, but I was
It's
kind
just
of
not top
considering him
tier.
for circle one putt.
I mean, he's a
Um,
robot. You can't.
but we
I see
can't.
that.
We can't because of Paul because it's
Yeah, you're right.
Discraft. So
You're right.
it makes it hard. Um,
Hmm.
who else is
What
there?
about what about Gannon Burr for forehand?
He does have a smash of a forehand.
And it's fairly accurate as well.
So does Kevin Jones, though.
It's not quite. Yeah, but Kevin Jones has been hard to
I
watch
would
this year.
probably
It's
take
just been.
Gannon's over Kevin's, though.
I think so. I I'm 100% okay with the idea
Of Gannon
of
Burr's
Gannon
forehand.
Burr. Yeah.
I kind of dig that. He's got a really good forehand, and we'll see a lot more of it, too.
But that, just to warn you, that does, put circle two putting back up in the air again.
I
Which, I
then
mean,
then I
let's
go
be honest,
straight to Conrad. I would go straight to Conrad.
I could get with that.
So what do you think about that? So Burr for forehand, and then for circle 2 putts, Conrad.
Yeah, I mean he's deadly.
Yeah.
His step. I mean, I call it a run putt. Actually, it's a step putt, but he runs at the basket as he putts. So I joke when people do that. It's a run putt.
Yeah. And then it's honestly, who has like the best circle 1 percentages? Like, then we could just pick the top one that we don't have a manufacturer for. Because I would almost pick Matty O.
Oh no!
Oh
Not what I
no!
wanted to do. I know. Yeah, it's just hard because I don't have manufacturers in front of me on this particular screen. For Circle 1 putting, our top 10 goes like this: Paul Macbeth, Ricky Wysocki, Alan Wagner, Linus Carlson, Isaac Robinson, Chris Clemens, Andrew Marweed, Jake Mon, Jeremy Colling, Colton Montgomery, Kyle Klein, Matt Oram.
Matty O
Matty,
is there in the top 10.
yeah.
Um,
But we kind of have two decent options in there because you got Matty O or Linus
Linus.
Carlson as well.
Why
Or,
not?
no, never mind. I can't do that. I was thinking of Harris because Harris is just so lights out from Circle 1, but we
Yeah,
already
he
have
is,
Prodigy.
but we already have Prodigy. I mean, honestly, I would be fine with.
Or, because Larry Lettinen is Latitude?
Yes, he's Latitude as well. But I still like Matty O probably the best out of all of those. I don't know if I've ever seen him miss from Circle 1, like on coverage. I don't think I have ever seen him miss Circle 1 putt.
He missed a few Circle 1 putts in All Stars this year, actually.
Well, I didn't watch it though.
Yeah, if you think back, he missed a few that even he was like, dude, what the heck?
Oh, well, that was fair. I give him. All Stars doesn't count. We all know that.
I know it's hard to base any of his stats so far this year because he's played so limited.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I'm still with it. I still kind of on the Matty O train. Either that or Linus. I would be fine with either one of those. The only thing about
I don't know.
The only thing about that is like he didn't have the best putting performance at Vegas. But evidently he pulled it up a lot because he's above Matty O now, right?
He was second in Circle 1 putting at Vegas. Linus.
Yeah.
He had a great performance from Circle 1. It was his.
Then.
No, I mean, 6 to 1.5 dozen the other. He was 16th in Circle 2. Linus struggled off the tee at Vegas.
And who am I thinking of?
He took 10 OBs at Vegas.
I'm fine.
I'm okay. You might be.
Did Seppo struggle a lot putting at Vegas?
I don't even have his name on my leaderboard, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was Seppo, actually.
I'm okay with Linus at...
I mean, we could probably pick any pro, but...
He's pretty lights out there.
Okay.
And that takes care of Latitude.
That takes care of everything. It's done.
All right.
So imagine a player with Calvin's backhand, Gannon Burr's forehand, long, lanky arms, obviously, with the mentality of Ricky Raptor legs by Saki Bomb.
Saki Bomb.
Circle 1 putt of Linus Carlson. Circle 2 putt of James Conrad. The style of Paul Macbeth. And the creativity of Simon Lizotte. That sounds like a pretty hard player to beat, I'm not going to lie.
I'm pretty sure that player is winning every tournament forevermore.
All right. So I feel like we've done pretty good then.
Yeah, I think we did great.
Okay, cool. That only took us like 12 minutes. Sorry.
12.
But we had to talk
It
through
was,
it. It was fine.
it was a,
I
it was a fun
actually really
conversation.
enjoyed that. I hope everybody else listening did. Um,
Yeah, I hope you guys were like legitimately yelling at, you know,
yeah,
during that whole segment
it's
for
like
anybody who's
this
listening
guy's got a better
post
forehand. This guy's
produced.
got a better backhand. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if we didn't have Discraft locked up, we could have thought, Aaron Gossage for forehand too, because he's just got
he
an
does
absolute
have a
cannon.
cannon of a forehand.
I mean, yeah, Paul Macbeth could go in any of the categories, really.
He
Ricky could go in
could.
any of the categories.
Yep. And honestly, like Simon could go in either of the putts as well. So could Eagle.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad leaving Eagle off this list,
It's
but
hard to not put him at forehand. It really is.
yeah,
But the creativity is just like no one does it like Simon, and the only second one would be KJ because of
yeah,
the grenades and everything like that. So
I'm gonna start calling him Grenade J.
yeah, that's clever. I like that. I
You heard
like
it here
that.
first. Intellectual property,
Patent
TM,
pending. Yeah, trademark patent pending.
registered trademark, Grenade J.
Grenade J. Yeah, so that's your player. That's our player, and Understable Mind said that they are going to do the FPO next week, and we will probably do an FPO next week as well.
Yeah,
Um,
down like down.
we will probably tweet this at them and see what kind of response we get back, but we shall see. Now
We
we're
shall
gonna
see.
go ahead and head into the last segment, which is our Champions Cup preview.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop,
First
whoop.
major of the
First
year,
major
baby.
of the year.
An
A very
inaugural
early one.
event.
Yes.
Super excited about that. I'm excited that they're spreading out the majors a little bit this year. It's not all
Yeah, I
cramped
like it a
up in
lot
the
better this
last
way. You're
couple of
probably
months.
going to see different kind of finishers as well. Um,
Yeah,
this will be our first look at Eagle too.
yeah. There's a
With
lot of people still
yeah.
talking about his injury and that he's not going to be forehanding, but he's had a lot of time off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who has talked to him, who has seen him, who knows how he's playing right now. My hope is that he took enough time off.
Yes. And another thing to think about, to be honest, is we're gonna get to see everyone. You know what I mean? Everyone together at this. This is probably the first event where everyone is going to be there. This will be the top of the top. Whoever wins is on their high horse. So, boop, boop.
This is the big one. In terms of the spring swing is what I'm going to call it. This is the big one.
Yep, there is only 100 players as well.
Yeah, it was capped out, right?
It's capped out at 100. And your top rated players for the first 10, just to show the top 10, Eagle McMahon, Paul Macbeth, Ricky Wysocki, Calvin Heinberg, Chris Dickerson, Matty O, Kyle Klein, Adam Hammis, Drew Gibson, James Conrad. That field
Top
alone
top,
in the that might have been 11, but
top
um,
10 in what respect?
in ratings wise,
Gotcha.
Eagle is still number one rated somehow on this ratings update. But
Yeah. I'm trying to kind of give more credence to like UDisc or Statmando's player ratings, if you will, rankings.
this is UDiscs, by the way. Like they're
UDisc UDisc has Ricky at one,
oh, on mine it says Eagle Paul Ricky, but it
but
could
that's
be.
but that's on based
That's
on
off of their
PDGA
PDGA
ratings.
rating, correct? Yeah. I
Right.
got you. But yeah, then you got James Proctor, Kevin Jones, Nico, Scott Withers, Gannon Burr, Isaac Robinson, Joel Freeman, Kel LaVisca, Nicolas Antila, Simon Lazat, Andrew Presnell, Lolly Leighton, and then Andrew Marwade. There is you just every single name on here. David Feldberg,
Yeah.
every single name on here except that one. I don't know that one. Matt Hammerston. I know of
Yeah,
every
I'm
single one
I'm pretty
except him.
excited. Um
no shot at him. I'm sorry. It's just I hadn't heard of that name yet.
No, you're right. Uh, the Knoxville area is going to be represented. Pretty excited about that. Chris Orrick is going to be there.
Yep.
I don't think Colby Childress got into that. He had some really good rounds at MCO, and he had one not so great round. But KO is going to be there. For anybody in my area, you guys are going to know that name very well. Excited to see what he can
Shout
do
out.
out there. I know he's already
Shout
played
out.
WR Jackson once or twice this season, as it were.
Yeah.
Um,
And this is a lot of people's like on a scale of 1 to 10. Most of these players are rating this course a 10. Um, this is one of their favorite courses to play in general. So I'm super stoked. I'm kind of like getting beginning of season vibes again. Like I'm ready to see this major.
yeah. So before we start talking about players, predictions, and so on and so forth, let's kind of preview the course a little bit. Um, for anybody who's never seen WR Jackson, I really highly recommend that you go back, try to find a tournament on Jomez or anywhere that you can find it, and just watch something. This course is absolutely gorgeous. It's got ridiculously tough lines, predominantly wooded. It's the first predominantly wooded course of the year.
Yep.
Um, and we were talking about this in the beginning of the show. There are a few holes that have had changes, but for the most part, from what we're hearing, they're staying true to themselves and really giving us the course how it was designed for the most part.
Yes.
And that's really, really cool to hear. Like he was saying, a lot of players really love this course. This course is so beloved in so many ways that it's exciting to hear how many people are excited to go back
Yeah,
and play because
exactly.
it's been off the pro circuit for a few years now. In terms of like the big swigs and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And yeah, pretty excited. We got a lot of big players that are going to be there, both MPO and FPO. Basically, anybody who's anybody is essentially going to be there. There's going to be a few names left out because again, they did limit it to 100 players total. There was a hard cap.
Well,
They did not
100
let
for
anybody
MPO and then
extra.
40 for FPO.
Right.
And the
So
FPO
it
field
was
is
a hard cap.
stacked too. So,
How dare
yeah,
you drink at the same time
that
as
was
me?
weird. For the ones of you listening, you'll never know what just happened until you go back and watch. So, there's that. Um Oh god. So, I'm going to start off. What do you think about doing a little bit before I get into predictions, I'm sorry. Um I watched the Brody and Ezra practice round video of Champions Cup. And one of the cool things, now I'm going to get your opinion on this. I don't know if you watched the video or not.
I did
But
not, so don't spoil too much for me.
okay, well this is not spoiling really anything. They have blue flags, yellow flags, and red flags. Just like pinned tape, like real estate tape.
Yes.
Um
And
on
they
the
all have.
trees.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay, on the trees, right? And there's three different ones down the fairway, and one is for 100 feet, one is 200 feet, and one is 300 feet. So they have everywhere, like they have it marked off because in the woods it's so much harder to use a rangefinder.
Yes.
So I was like, that is some proactive stuff right there by the course crew. To think about that, to implement it, and for it to be such a subtle change that you don't even really notice it's there.
Yeah, actually, it's really funny you say that because I just played a course this last week that did have a really cool feature. I mean, it was just a 9-hole course, but the people who upkeep the course actually keep stakes with green flags on the fairways of every hole that designate 100 feet to the basket.
Right.
And I was kind of out there and I was playing and I was like, I don't know why more disc golf courses don't do this. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
staple. It's a staple when you talk about regular golf. They have designators in the fairway basically
Exactly.
to tell you exactly how many yards you are at that point from to the center of the green because you can't do it to cups obviously because
Right.
but to the center of the green this
You
is how many yards you are exactly and I don't understand why disc golf courses don't do this more
I don't
often.
know. it's such a good marketing thing too. Bushnell could jump on that in a heartbeat.
But
Bushnell range, Bushnell range, Bushnell range. You know what I mean? Like that's just something that could be marketable for the pro tour or course.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Um, I yeah, I really liked it. I thought that was something I was like, that is not something that has to be there, but
right.
quality of life. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like if you're off of the fairway and you look over to your left about 30 feet, just directly beside you, and you see that you're 200 feet from the pin, you're like, okay, I know what I need to do. You know what I mean? Rather than, and it might change the outcome. Those are
yeah.
changes that could really affect scrambles.
And it's really important on a course like this because yes, I mean, there are a lot of wooded courses that play really difficult, but this course has a very predominant blind shot concept.
Yes,
Almost all of the holes that you can imagine, baskets not visible, or if it is visible, it's not rangeable.
but they have landing zones. You know what I mean? Like that's it. The
Exactly.
par fours are not really eagleable. You know what I mean? They they mean par fours. It's two good shots to get a birdie, and you got to hit your
Yes.
landing zone. That's cool. That's the kind of disc golf we came to see at a major. You know what I mean? So I'm super stoked to see how it all plays out. Shout out Yuleberry.
And yeah, and I love to see just like how seriously that they're taking this first major,
Yeah,
being number one, that it's the first time that this major is happening. It's the first time we've seen Jackson on the tour in a while, and they're really taking all the steps, and I love that.
yeah, it is awesome. I didn't
If
realize
you
it
get,
was so close to us.
I think it's 3 hours for me
Yeah,
at
it's
the
only three and
most.
a half for me. So
Yeah,
I was like, why are we not going down there? But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's whatever. But yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't even think about it being that close to us. Um, yeah, but I'm excited about it. I know you're excited about it. Let's go
yeah,
ahead and get into some predictions. You want to start off with some MPO predictions?
yeah. Let's do it.
All right. I'm gonna let you go first on MPO. I'm gonna go first on FPO.
All right. Um, let's both start with predictions to
Top
win
three
here.
and disc. Top three and dark horse.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Let's.
go. I'm gonna go just a prediction to win. My flat out. This guy is who I think is going to win.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna go with Paul Macbeth. And I know
Yeah.
this seems like a really stock pick, but I want to remind you guys, like Paul Macbeth takes majors an extra level of serious
Uh
to
huh.
any other event that he does. And that includes his preparation. And we know for any event he goes to, he is over prepared compared to almost every other player in the field. He skipped MCO, he skipped Tallahassee. I mean, what else do you want me to say? Dude's
I mean,
probably been
but he
there for
did
a
play
month
Throw Down the
already.
Mountain.
He did, but I mean, I would imagine Throwdown the Mountain was probably just a trip out of the way, and he was already at Jackson for a week before he went down to that.
Maybe,
That
yeah,
was
that is
that
possible.
was
But he took Nick Carl down there, um,
right.
and he stayed at Tallahassee with Nick Carl, but didn't play.
Yeah, which I thought that was weird because he was originally registered for Tallahassee.
Yeah,
But
I
again,
just
a lot of players dropped out of Tallahassee, so it was just
he's got a slight injury right now going on.
so yeah.
So
So for me, I mean, distance is not going to be king on this course. It's going to be about placement.
hmm
And one thing is for sure, Paul Macbeth will have every landing zone planned out all 4 rounds.
oh
That
yeah,
is what
a
we
lot
know
of
for
people
sure.
will. I mean,
A lot
to
of
be
people,
honest,
a lot of people will, but just it's just nobody prepares for major level events like Paul Macbeth. It's hard to bet against that.
right?
My first instinct was actually to pick Calvin. I thought, that there was a chance he was really going to break out, and then I reeled back and I was like, it's a major.
Yeah,
And I just don't know how to not pick Paul at a major right now. You know,
yeah. Um, Okay, well, you want me to go ahead and pick my first place
You're
prediction then?
you're outright to win.
My outright to win is Chris Dickerson. And the reason I say that is because this is his favorite course of all time.
True.
He that there was a stat that got put out where he plays generally 30 to 40 rating points above his rating at this course. Um which is unreal, but it could be because of, how hard the course is. But
Yeah.
I mean, he's not. I mean, he's 1040 something rated. So that's
Yeah,
saying something.
and we know he's in his element in the wood
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
his element. And if his putt is on, he wins. Um, I truly think so because his confidence with his fairway drivers is very good. Undertakers will be plentiful in these woods. Um,
Yes.
it's a very Undertaker style course. That's why I think Paul Macbeth will do well as well.
Yeah,
Um,
I think we're gonna hear popping up a lot between if they are just discraft player. I think the three phrases we're gonna hear a ton are gonna be Buzz, Undertaker,
Undertaker, and
and I don't even know a last one. It could be
it
anything,
could be
but
the Force or the Raptor. Truly,
yeah,
but yeah, I agree. There will be a lot of Buzz shots, and there will be a lot of Undertaker shots. But yeah, so go ahead and fill out your podium and your dark horse pick.
all right. So to start off for my podium, obviously we got McBeast up there. I'm going to put Dickerson on my podium as well. Um, because again, he's in his element. You explained exactly why you think he's going to win. Those are all the same reasons I think that there's no chance he misses out on a podium here.
Right.
And then I'm going to go with Calvin Heinberg.
Okay.
Um, I think Calvin Heinberg's going to put up a pretty good chase to win, regardless of whoever is up at the top. He's going to give some good chase. And I'm leaving off Ricky Wysocki for one particular reason. And this is his first real all wooded course with the new bag, and we've seen how long it's taken him to adjust to the bag, as it were.
Yeah.
And I think that an all wooded course is just going to be a little bit too much for him at this time with the new bag and freshening up. I think he finishes top 10 for sure. He might finish in the top 5. I just don't think he's got enough comfortability with that bag yet to play in the woods at the level he's going to need to win this tournament.
Right.
Eagle, I just can't talk about Eagle right now because we don't know. I
We
don't
just don't
know.
know. And
I,
it's not that he doesn't deserve to be there. It's just we've got to see him first.
yeah,
That's one of the things.
I have to see him show that he can do that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Um, as for the dark horse pick, listen, we're talking about a field where the top 50 players are all capable of winning this
Yeah.
tournament.
None of the top 50 are dark horse picks. They're not.
Right. But at the same time, I can't pick anybody below 50 to win this tournament.
Yeah.
I can't pick them as a dark horse. So my dark horse is going to be soft, and I'm
Okay.
okay with that. But Lottie Lettinen is going to be my dark horse.
Okay. I can dig it. I can dig it. Um, Mine is quite a bit different. Uh,
Sick.
Mine is quite a bit different. Um, I'm gonna go Chris taking it down. Nico LaCastro in second because his
Because of
flex.
the wonderful things he does. No, sorry.
Yeah, because on hole 4 when we seen him, that flex line with that overstable disc and what he can manipulate a disc to do, and we know that he can do it in the woods, his flex lines are gonna be clutch in these woods. All right, and his putt's been dropping. So as long as he doesn't get called on time, he will be there. He will be on podium and probably contending. And then I have Paul Macbeth rounding out the third spot. I do think that he will make podium. Uh, Calvin and Ricky are going to be all up there as well. And want to point out that Drew Gibson with a buzz is dangerous. So
and let's be clear here when we talk about Drew Gibson with a buzz. You might think, well, I mean, some of these holes are pretty long, but
he can throw a buzz 600 feet.
bro, I promise you, any distance or landing zone on the longer holes, he can still hit
He will
with a
probably throw a
buzz
buzz, to be honest.
or orange mid range, depending on how
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
feeling
yeah,
this
yeah.
tournament. Who
Orange mid
knows?
range. Yeah, it all depends. But yeah, so mine is a little different than yours. And then my dark horse pick, um, I'm gonna see where Lolly. Okay, so he's actually in the top 20.
He
25.
got himself a really massive boost because of his
Yeah,
performance at
and
MCO.
MCO.
If you take that out, he would be down towards the 40s, I
But
believe.
somebody that we haven't seen this year yet. And I've been watching the Instagram. He's only played here like 18 to 20 rounds already.
Yeah.
Corey Ellis. Corey Ellis is dangerous if he gets on fire.
Yeah.
His putting is stupid, and his standstill shots stupid. Like, if he can get clean off the tee, he's got a great shot at making podium.
Unfortunately, that's always the question with him: is how clean is he going to be off the tee? Because we know that
That's the
statistically he's the
stipulation.
best. He was the best putter last year.
Absolutely, he was. But yeah, that's my dark horse. I really like that pick. So
Yeah, I have no qualms about either of our lineups.
yeah,
Honestly,
no, that's and it's hard to on a major. I mean, anybody, which is awesome to see because anybody can win. That is a great thing to have.
right?
But I'm gonna lead off with FPO, who I think is gonna win outright. It's okay. I don't like the fact that I had a second guess. um,
I'm
uh,
second guessing everything on FPO right now, so you're not
yeah.
alone.
So
Look, I'm not going to say that you're directly affecting my decision, but you're directly affecting my decisions here because
okay.
I want to hear how you talk out what you're going to say because
Yeah.
I'm still talking out what I'm thinking in
So
my brain.
in all honesty, I'm gonna put Katrina winning this. Okay. She was not my first pick. Um, I actually didn't even have Paige at my first pick. I had Kristen as my first pick. But Katrina has got a little bit better control with a backhand. The problem that I'm having is Kristen has got a forehand that is deadly. And
It's necessary out there.
it's necessary out here. So I'm gonna stick with Katrina. I just feel like she's got that motivation to go win a major. Um, she's looked good this whole year. And so is Kristen. So it's hard to say, but yeah, Katrina is gonna be my outright pick to win it.
All right. Um, I have to agree, and it comes down to the fact that we're playing an all wooded course right now.
Yeah,
Nobody has shown, in my opinion, the precision as of yet this season for me to truly believe that they are capable of taking down 4 straight rounds on this type of course outside of Katrina.
That's exactly where my mindset went.
Anybody can rise to the occasion. All right. I want it to be known that there are at least 15 players who are going to be fighting hard for this victory, but
Yep.
nobody has proven that they can hit these lines so far this season except Katrina. There have been some people who have had some great performances, taking down wins that were not named Katrina this year, but not
Yep.
on this style of course. And Katrina has been the most consistent on these types of lines so far. So I don't know how not to pick her for this situation simply based on that alone.
Yep. I agree. So the rest of my podium will be Katrina, Kristen, and Holly Finley.
Okay.
My dark horse pick, uh, it Stacy
Again,
Haas.
uh,
So it is a solid group, but she
yeah,
is in the.
dark horse pick in this field is soft. There's
It
no
is.
ifs, ands, or buts about it because the 4 players that I really see on this list that I would consider eligible for what we generally consider a dark horse pick,
Yeah.
I don't think have a chance.
Right.
So just know that when you hear dark horse and you hear some of the names we might come up with, this group is just so pristine in both MPO and FPO. Soft picks.
Yeah.
It's just that's just how it's going to be. All right. Rounding out my top 3, I'm going to put Owen Scoggins up there
Okay.
because she's more of a precision than a distance player
I
anyways.
agree. I agree. I like that
And I
pick.
think I think that's going to set her up really well in this type of a course. I still think that Katrina's going to edge her in terms of the victory,
Yeah.
but I think Owen can definitely show us some stuff out here, um, and get up into the podium. And then I'm going to go with Missy as well.
Yeah. This is a good course for Missy. Um,
Yeah, and that's again,
her Undertakers and her Thrashers will be very good here.
yeah. I mean, that's all you're gonna hear out of Missy is Thrasher, Undertaker, Undertaker, Thrasher, Thrasher, Undertaker. Um, I can't pick Paige Pierce in good conscience. I know that she put on quite a show, in Texas, but 4 rounds in the woods like this, Paige Pierce is either dominant or she's non-existent for her. I might
Yeah.
add. Please put that in quotes for her because she's probably still going to be top 10 no matter how bad she plays. But yeah, I just in wooded courses, it's one or the other, and you never know what you're going to get. It's
Right.
all going to depend on how that first round really goes for her. Um, Kristen, I don't know enough about watching her play in these types of wooded courses. I've seen some, video of her playing in heavy wooded courses, but I don't know where her mentality is at for this type of course yet. It's really hard to say, you know.
Yeah.
Um, as for as for a dark horse, I just don't know.
Hmm.
I just don't know because all of the people I'm like, yeah, not really a dark horse. I'm gonna go with Emily Beach.
Emily Beach. That's a good one.
I think so. Um, she's had her fair share of struggles so far this year, but she has shown on multiple occasions this season already that she is capable of doing some great stuff out on the course. It's just going to be about whether she can put that together for 4 rounds in a row, or at least 3 out of the 4 rounds and get herself up to a podium. You know what I mean? That's really kind of been her struggles is putting together an absolutely fantastic round and then mentally slipping the next day.
Yeah.
So if she can put it together for 3 out of 4 rounds, I think we could see her up on the podium.
Sounds like a good pick to me.
That's it. That's all
That's
I
it.
got on that.
That's all we got. Well, that pretty much wraps up the podcast for this week. Um, you don't have anything else? I don't.
No. Yeah, I can't
We
Can't really think of anything.
considering this is a 4-round tournament, it's very high possibility that we may uh end up doing like a mid tournament recap or something like that. We'll try to do that. Um,
Yes.
yeah, hopefully. Um, maybe Friday night, something something like that along those lines.
Yeah,
But
I would say yeah. Expect something on Friday night, I would say. I know you're off on Friday.
yeah,
I am not.
yeah,
My wife is.
yep,
I am not.
yep. Well, we'll see. But
But
uh, anyways, we're gonna go ahead
anything,
and end it.
you're good.
Yeah, you good? All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and end her there. We appreciate everybody stopping by. Thanks for all the comments and the fun playing with the games. We do appreciate it. Thanks for all of our listeners. Spotify, shout out Spotify, just edged out Apple Podcasts. So, Apple, you know what to do. Um, hit those 5 stars or other
Yeah.
stars if you don't like us. But yeah. Anyways, everybody have a great night, great rest of your weekend, great day tomorrow. Um, yeah, we just appreciate you guys. This is us signing out. Peace.